Okay, everyone, thank you for your patience. We are live and recording. And Judge, we're good to start.
Okay, it is Monday, October 12th, 9:16. This meeting is now open. Item number 2 is to discuss, take action, appoint Douglas Brown as Constable Precinct 1. Russell?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. It's been brought to my attention that Douglas Brown has met the requirements to now be able to be appointed as the Constable of Precinct 1. He's unopposed in the November election, and I was asked to put this on the agenda.
Motion to approve.
He's unopposed in the November election, and I was asked to put this on the agenda.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Judge Barton, are you muted?
Judge Luck, Judge Johnson.
I mean, Luck.
That's okay.
I'm just reading the name and hearing a sound.
I understand. That's all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Judge Kobos and I are here with Mr. Brown. We want to take the opportunity to get Mr. Brown into office. We want to thank Mr. Larry Woodruff for filling in. He's been doing that since Mr. Kreiner became sheriff and left that position. So we wanted to just come to the court saying he's finished his training at the police academy, passed with flying colors, and we're happy to bring him on. And we appreciate the court allowing us to do this ahead of time so we can get our constable into that office and kind of up and running prior to the actual elected office he will take in January. Judge Kobos is here. He has been assisting. He has supervised Douglas for quite some time, and he's going to be the one to swear him in, if that's all right with the court.
Sounds good on this.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for indulging us. If you'll just let us take just a minute so I can swear him in where it's on the commissioner's website. Doug, if you'll raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Douglas Brown,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully
the
execute
duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Constable Precinct 1
Constable Precinct 1
of the County of Midland,
of the County of Midland,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Constable.
Well, welcome to Precinct 1.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Douglas.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You say anything?
Thank you.
Well, I'm proud of Doug. He's worked for me in the juvenile section for the last 13 years, and I'm very proud of what he's done for the juveniles in Midland County and his going on to this new venture. And I think he'll be an exceptional constable. And thank you all very much. And Doug, we love you, and we're here. You need anything? We're here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you. Been asked to table number 3 for right now. Item number 4, receive report from district courts on use of pretrial services. Judge Gillis.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you.
Good morning.
In an effort to move cases and help relieve some conditions at the jail and to preserve the health and safety of all concerned, the judges met about a week ago and came up with a plan that for those criminal defendants presently in custody, they could be, and those defendants who have received and accepted an offer which includes probation, that we would place them on bond through Midland County pretrial to allow them to quarantine at home prior to conducting their plea. Hopefully this will then allow attorneys to meet with their client prior to the plea, get all the paperwork signed up, and they would have been quarantined for 14 days. The idea being that these criminal defendants would be placed on a bond through Midland County pretrial with a GPS monitor to ensure that they comply with the required quarantine at home. Again, with the idea that there would be no bond fee imposed for this, since all of this kind of inures to the benefit of the community in Midland County, and that the fee for the electronic monitor would be paid for by Midland County. That would be done without the actual transfer of funds from one line item to Midland County pretrial, but there might be a deficit at some point in time in the Midland County Pretrial Services Office budget, which would be indicative of this plan. These costs would be directly related to COVID-19, and now would rely upon others smarter than I as to whether or not these costs might be reimbursable. But it's cheaper to put them out on a monitor than it is to maintain them in jail, I believe. And their required quarantine would ensure that they were not endangering the health of the community, as it were, with the idea that they would be at home with family should they be testing positive at this point in time, much as what they would be required to do if they were positive and going about their normal activities out of custody. This is really kind of an informational aspect. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I'm happy to answer those if you so desire, or let anyone else speak.
Judge Gillis, it's like $10 a day for the GPS monitor?
It's $11 a day. I'm sorry to speak over you, Commissioner. It's $11 a day for 14 days. That turns into $154. And hopefully by the time we get to that 14th day, we would be doing a plea maybe the day before or the day after, something of that nature. So it'd be $154, let's say between $150 and $160 per person.
And how many do you think you'll have out on monitor?
Right now, I'm going to guess that there's probably, half a dozen between the courts. And it merely would be dictated by offers made by the district attorney's office and whether or not those offers are accepted by the defendant himself or herself.
Well, I think it's a good idea. That's only a day and a half of confinement in our jail. So I think that's a good idea.
And Commissioner, Judge Gillis had talked to me in regards to it, and he was trying to figure out how, I guess, to pay the pretrial services, but it's basically like paying ourselves. So I just told him that, this action, him bringing it to the court, would be information so that if there is a reduction in our revenue for pretrial bonding, it has to do with that because we're not charging those defendants those monitor fees and such.
Okay.
Okay.
I thank you very much. I thank Veronica Morales for her guidance and wisdom in this, because I was actually thinking about funds being transferred from one budget item to another. Her idea makes it much simpler, and hopefully it's still easy enough to track in the event those costs are reimbursable.
And Judge Gillis, if you'll let us know how this works out, I'd be very interested to see what the results are.
I'll be happy and the other judges will be happy. I'll ask them for the same information and get that back to you within 3 or 4 weeks so we can see how it progressed.
Super. Thanks.
Well, thanks for coming up with that idea and for the update. Appreciate it.
Surely, we thank y'all, and we'll all get through this together, as they say.
Yes, we will.
Judge Gillis,
All right.
I had one more question. I may have missed this. Are there any crimes that they've been accused of that they will not be allowed to do this?
Well, it's designed with those people who have been offered and accepted a probation. So it could cover a wide variety of crimes. There's always the idea that should it be an extremely heinous crime that one, the offer wouldn't be made, and secondly, if it's made, it may not be accepted by the court. So there's still that check and balance, so to speak, on both sides of the equation.
Thank you.
Shirley?
Judge?
Yes, sir. Oh, I thought you had a question, Commissioner.
No, I was just saying thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. And thanks to all of you.
Okey-doke. Item number 5, take action acknowledging personnel memoranda.
Yes, sir. I believe you have in your backup the payroll change summary. There's nothing out of the ordinary there today for your approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6, discuss take action on line item transfers.
Yes, sir. I do have some to bring to your attention this morning. Line item transfer on page 1 of 27 are transfers to cover excess funds to cover line item shortages, and that's how it's referenced. And there are some money being moved out of the salary lines, and I guess it's just for the 20 year, and that's for the sheriff's office, trying to cover some of the negative, I would imagine, negative overtime lines that he has. We already do have some transfers for the fiscal year 21, and that starts on page 17 of 27, where the 2021 fiscal year transfers already are starting. I do want to bring to your attention on page 23 of 27, line item transfer number 91, 2021 91, and that is moving money out of the capital in Road and Bridge, moving money out of the capital outlay infrastructure into consulting engineer services, $50,000. And since that's moving money out of capital outlay infrastructure, I wanted to make you aware of that. That's all I have for you this morning on line item transfers.
Motion to approve all line item transfers. Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 7, discuss take action on bills and wire transfers.
Yes, sir. I do have some exceptions to the bills this morning. I do have a commercial electronic supply company for facilities, $56.68, some switch and some items that were purchased. And it just indicates the commercial electronic supply invoice needs to be expensed. Horseshoe thought we had a BPO with them. And so that one needs to be expensed, no PO. I do have another one for Burkhead Feed Stores, $806 for SO mounted patrol, and it's coming out of their donation account for sand and some items that were needed there. The explanation provided indicates the quote was asked for on August 31st. The quote was not given to me, so I could request a PO. So I was told it couldn't be paid until 10/1 and to wait until the date to send it in. So but it was still already incurred. It was an invoice that was dated August 31st, and there was no PO on it. And so we need to go ahead and expense that out, no PO. I have another one. I have actually 3 of them for Texas Tech Health Sciences. And that has to do with the care of 3 different inmates, each of them 167, well, 2 of them $167 and 1 of them for $165. Provided says both inmates were in custody at the time of service. Medical did not notify that a PO was needed. Please expense. And so that's the explanation provided for those 3 invoices. Wanted to bring to your attention 2 invoices for Rendell Sykes for right-of-way, one for $625, one for $100. We got a bill late for Prosperity, but of course we want to get that paid so we don't incur any interest charges. And so that is in the amount, there's no exceptions on that one. It is just in the amount of, let me get you the total, I'm sorry. $2,078.77. Various invoices, like I said, no exceptions on that. It's just that it got in late and we want to go ahead and get that paid so we don't incur additional charges. There are 2 additional invoices for your consideration also. We got an invoice for Midland County Freshwater Supply District number 1, and that's in the amount of $146,000. It didn't get included in your the rest of the bills because I was having Russell help me review the contract to make sure the amount was correct. I think in the past we've paid about $100,000 a year, and this time it was $146,000, and Russell did review the contract and the amount was correct. So I need that one included so that I can go ahead and get that paid. And then I also have 4 invoices from USI. That's our public package insurance. One of them is for the sheriff's office, I believe, for that tank or whatever the official name of that is. But those are 4 invoices in the amount of $626,669 for insurance that is due on the 15th. I inquired with Ken on Friday and we hadn't gotten those, but they are due on the 15th of October. So we want to go ahead and get those paid for. So if you would allow me to go ahead and get that paid. There's, so that is on that one. I do have one invoice that is included in the check run, and it is made out to Vector Fleet. I had spoken, it is out of risk management. I had spoken to Ken about it, and he indicates that it actually needs to be taken out, that we don't need to pay for it because he doesn't have any sufficient backup for it. And it is invoice number 13143 for Vector Fleet. And the amount of $1,209.77. Request the court to go ahead and remove that from the bills you currently have before you today. And that is all I have. Unless you have any questions.
Russell, I do have a question. The $146,000 from the Midland County Freshwater District, is that just that yearly amount that we pay?
Yes.
Yes, sir. And it's in the contract starting either this year or last year, it increased from 100,000 to 146.
Thank you.
Motion to pay all bills and wire transfers.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
This includes all exceptions, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Item number 8, discuss take action on fiscal year 2021 Indigent Defense Formula Grant Resolution.
We typically bring this for all of the district courts and all of the courts so that we can file with the state grant, the commission, the Indigent Defense Formula Grant Resolution. And it is this year for fiscal year 20, they're providing to us $145,891. I know usually I give you the information in regards to how much we spent in the previous year. In the previous year on indigent defense, we spent $1,781,119.57. And so our formula grant provided by the state for indigent defense is giving us $145,891. But we need a resolution, so we go ahead and apply for these funds.
motion to apply for the Indigent Defense Formula Grant Resolution.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item number 9, receive report from county auditor on sheriff's evidence obtainment fund.
Yes, sir, we were out there to review the amount of money for evidence obtainment. We went out there when Sheriff Gillette was leaving office, and then we have since had Sheriff Kreiner go in and count those funds. We were $100 off from what they had previously, so we went out there again and reviewed that, and indeed there's $100 difference on that. One of the bundles that was a $2,000 bundle, I think we had bundled it up and we had counted 2,000 on it, but now it's 1,900. So just wanted to bring that to the court's attention. The amount that is in there is $54,410.02. I believe that when we were talking about the budget, there was an additional amount that was budgeted for. I think it was $15,000 that they said they were going to be depositing it back into the account. I'm assuming that is going to happen, but what I'm bringing before you was just the count that we did out there. We did look at those funds, and that's the amount in those funds. So if you can acknowledge the report.
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item 10, discuss take action on resolution for Senior Life Midland. Did we lose Kathleen?
Tracy Renton should be on here. Tracy, are you here?
Sorry, I had to unmute. I apologize.
Okay. Thank
There
you.
you are.
And I'm
Okay.
sitting in for Kathleen today.
Okay, all right, well, you're on.
Well, first of all, we just want to say thank you very much for the consideration of our annual grant. These funds really do go a long way in helping us feed our homebound seniors, especially those that live out in the county and that we do find difficult to access. We have been able to work diligently to provide not only shelf-stable meals to keep them sustained for longer periods of time, but also providing some frozen meals for them as well. Many of them, it's more than just a meal. It's also about safety checks. And so we are very diligent about checking in on our county seniors as well as our seniors that live inside the city limits. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Glad to be a help. Glad you're doing what you're doing. So with a father-in-law that just turned 89 and we had to admit him into assisted living, I certainly realize what your services do. So appreciate it.
Well, there are so many out there that can't afford to go into assisted living. And so this is the only resource that they truly do have. And we're just glad to be able to partner with our county to be able to provide those meals and that valuable safety check and to make sure that they are truly safe in their home.
I'll make a motion that we accept this resolution for Senior Life Midland.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you.
Item number 11, discuss take action on cooperative agreement between Midland County and Midland College for breath alcohol testing program.
And Judge, Linda Lynn Pervier is representing this item, but they are starting some in-class meetings today and she's not able to be with us. And
Okay.
she asked that because this is a renewal agreement every year, if the court would consider approving.
I'd make the motion that we approve the Midland College agreement for breath alcohol testing program.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 12, been asked to table at this time. Item 13, discuss take action authorizing the county judge to sign Baker and Taylor DVD lease. Debbie?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Good morning. The Baker and Taylor DVD lease is an agreement that we have had in the past, and we just need the judge to sign the agreement. It's for $6,669, and it gives us another option for patrons to be able to check out new DVDs. These are DVDs that are physical pieces. It's not online.
Hey, Debbie, what's the BD mean? You have DVD/BD.
Blu-ray disc.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd make the motion that we renew our DVD leasing account with Baker and Taylor for DVDs.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 14, discuss take action authorizing county judge to sign Scan R Store maintenance contract.
The Scan R Store maintenance contract is for maintenance on our ST imaging machine, which is our microfilm, microfiche machine. This is just a standard maintenance agreement. Scan R Store is a new vendor. We have a difficult time finding vendors that can service the imaging machine, but this one is, I believe, out of Mesquite. So we do try to keep them in Texas at least.
Question authorizing the county judge to sign maintenance contract for ST Imaging View Scan 4 between Scan R Store and Midland County Public Libraries.
I have one question before we start. Russell, have you looked at this? That applicable law is in Collin County?
Commissioner, I didn't receive any of these contracts before they came into backup on Friday, so I have not had a chance to thoroughly review all of them. So you're correct about that. There's that. And I believe one other change will need to be made on this. My plan was at the end of Commissioner's Court to notify Jenny of which contracts need to be held until I've made the appropriate changes. But I don't have any problem with approving it, but just that it not be signed until I've made any necessary changes.
Okay.
I'll amend my motion to upon approval of the county attorney.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Item 15, discuss take action authorizing county judge to sign Mortis service contract agreement.
The service contract for Modus Space Solutions is for the mobile shelving that we keep our petroleum collection on. This is a standard agreement. I believe we signed this last year. It's for $1,500, $1,552.22.
So this is, you're not taking the option for the 2-year, you're just doing the 1 year? It really doesn't make any difference. They just doubled the price, but.
Not much of a difference. We only budgeted for 1 year, Commissioner.
Okay. I'd make the motion that we authorize county judge to sign the Modus contract for 1 year.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 16, discuss take action authorizing county judge to sign data axle agreement.
The Data Axle is the producer of a database called Reference USA. Reference USA is a digital resource for small business owners. This will be a new database that we will be adding to our array of databases that we already have. We did budget for it. It's $7,900. We felt like this would be a good addition with the way things are going, the economy in Midland. This will help business owners. It has several resources for business resources on here, on that database.
How do we judge whether a database such as this is actually getting to the people that need it and is being useful to those same people?
That is one of the responsibilities and duties of our reference or digital and virtual librarian. He keeps track of the statistics for all the databases, and then we do input that to our annual report to the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. So we track that, and when we start looking at our databases and evaluating them during budget season, we do look at what the use is and how many people are using it and what the impact on the community is from that. So if it's not being used, then we'll just cut it from the budget.
Is this budgeted?
Yes, we did account for this. This was a database that during the budget season, we felt like it would be a good addition. We cut some other databases that weren't performing very well and decided to add this one instead.
Debbie, on your request item, it shows current budget $0. And so that's just a mistake. Is that correct?
Probably so, yes. I don't think we entered it in there. I think because it was already in the budget, it's not a new, it's not an additional ask.
Okay. Motion to approve the county judge's signature on the data axle agreement for Reference USA.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 17, discuss and take action authorizing the county judge to sign library ideas renewal.
Library Ideas is the vendor for Freegold Music. This is a database that we have had in the past. It's about $10,000, $10,609. We use it for streaming music, and it is one of our highly used databases. This is, again, a standard agreement. It's in the budget, and we have used it in the past.
Debbie, on the application here, it says that the hour streaming day has been increased from 3 hours to 24 hours, but then it'll revert back to 3 hours on January 1st of 2021.
That, Commissioner, several of the databases or streaming vendors like Freego and Hoopla extended the amount of time that patrons can use and allowed libraries to have more access during the COVID pandemic period. So it could be something that they may reevaluate in January, depending on what the situation is of the pandemic situation. But several of them did increase usage. And that's what that is.
Okay, thank you.
We're only paying for the 3 hours of streaming a day, but they're giving us that extra at no charge.
I'll make that motion then that we authorize the county judge to sign the library ideas renewal.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 18, discuss, take action authorizing the county judge to sign Newsbank renewal.
Newsbank is a database that we got last year, and it's for the newspapers and Fold 3. It's a standard agreement. It's $11,687. and we did budget for that. This is a database that is used quite a bit in our, especially in our genealogy department.
I'd make the motion that we sign the Newsbank license agreement for subscription and perpetual license sales, subject to Russell's review of the contract.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 19, discuss take action authorizing the county judge to sign Public Library Connect consent form.
Public Library Connect is an initiative between public libraries and independent school districts. We have a Overdrive database that by signing this agreement, it would allow Midland ISD students to access the Overdrive database. There's no charge to it at all. It's just the Midland ISD IT department working with Midland County IT department so that students don't have to have a library card. They can use their Midland ISD or identification card. And this is helpful to the students because often they're not able to come in to get a library card. They don't have the requirements to get a library card on their own, but this helps them access the database. And with the initiative is called SORA, SORA, and it has several different facets on there. It has homework help, dictionaries, a lot of insights to the books and summaries for the books that are available on Overdrive. And this is just a way that we can partner with Midland ISD to give the students another resource that they can use for their schoolwork.
Debbie, can we extend this to Greenwood?
I would have to get with Greenwood ISD, but I think we could, sir.
Okay, if you'll contact Mr. Elliott out there, I would appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I'll make the motion that we approve county judge to signature on the Public Library Connect consent form.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You bet. Item 20, acknowledge tax office summary of all collections for August 2020.
Good morning, can you hear me?
Barely.
Hear me?
You're pretty well broken up.
I'll try to answer any questions if you can, if you have some.
Okay.
I was just gonna point out, I ran just for informational purposes. If you can hear me, I ran some reports. I was just noticing how low that the hotel occupancy tax was. I ran some reports and we're down about 41% on hotel occupancy. So, I mean, it's obviously hit us in different areas. I'll have a more complete report to that for the September collections.
Okay, everybody get that?
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Thank you. Item 21, discuss take action authorizing county judge to sign the TransUnion TLO contract.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Morning.
We are just asking for the judge's approval on switching our investigators' people search application. They've been using Accurant, which is a LexisNexis product. This is going to switch them over to TLO, which is a product of TransUnion. We think it's going to be a much better system. The cost should be the same, if not less, for what will be a much more effective search process for them to locate our witnesses.
So what exactly is the difference between the two?
Well, they're the same type of product. The TLO product, though, seems to be growing more and more in favor by law enforcement agencies. It just gives them a lot more robust search features without having to do multiple individual searches. They can get a lot more comprehensive information from one search. Based on the way they price these out, particularly with the way Accurant has been doing their pricing lately, it should actually save us from doing additional searches that Accurant charges extra on. We'll get the same information from TLO with just having to do one search. And so that seems to be one of the main factors that have caused this to increase in popularity with law enforcement agencies. And so they've just been using Accurant for a while. It hasn't been doing as good a job for them as they think TLO will be able to. They've been able to evaluate it with a couple of different trials, and all the investigators really think it's going to work a lot better for them.
Well, I'll make the motion to have the county judge sign the TLO contract.
I'll second, but I have another question for you, Tim. Who all has access to this database usage?
Our criminal investigators do. We also have a restitution specialist who's in charge of tracking down victims to get information from them so we can get money back for them whenever we're able to. And she also has access. And that's the only ones within the office that are going to have access to the actual searches.
And Tim has this shows us pricing supplement to a law enforcement agency subscriber agreement. Excuse me, are we already subscribing to this?
No, this will be a new subscription for us. The previous one was through Accurant, which is a different company. So this will be a new subscription for us to TLO.
So Russell, do you need to review this as well?
Sorry. Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Okay, because we only have the pricing supplement. We don't have
Right.
the agreement here. So Scott, would you?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to upon review by the county attorney.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 22, discuss take action on out-of-state travel for investigator to attend tactical bomb technician certification course in Kansas City, Missouri on November 2nd through the 13th, 2020.
And Judge, this is for our bomb technician, Kevin Bullard, to travel to the FBI school. The expenses, travel included, are paid for by the FBI, so it's merely asking for permission to him to undertake the out-of-state travel.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Item number 23, discuss and take action on a burn ban.
Good morning, everybody. Justin
Good
is
morning.
fishing in Port Aransas. He's doing better than us, so I hope everybody had a good weekend.
Yes.
We would like to extend the burn ban for another 90 days, and that would make it end on January 23rd, 2021. I did email everyone the updated information on the drought and our condition this morning. I hope everybody got the email.
I did.
Yeah, we
Yes.
did.
I did check with a U.S. meteorologist, and he said the reason all this is happening about the no water is that we're in La Nina. I didn't know that until last week. La Nina is the opposite of El Nino, which brings us lots of water. La Nina will last for a while and keep us very dry this winter, supposedly.
And what is the KBDI that we have right now?
It is between 700 and 800.
I'll make the motion to extend the burn ban.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 24, discuss take action on purchase of drone for emergency management.
Yes, sir. This is a budgeted item, and we're requesting to go ahead and purchase it.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
This is the one that we discussed during budget studies, Commissioner, so that we can better use eyes in the air instead of getting so close to the oil field fires, tank battery fires, and so forth. We can use this for types of investigations after everyone has their certification on it. And it's the same one that the fire department uses. So we know it's tested and tried and works very well.
And special equipment on it?
It will have, I believe, 4 cameras on it, and it's got a sensor on it so that if it gets close to a tree or something that's in the way, it will not allow it to get any closer. So it does have an accident sensor on it so that we can't crash it.
And I forget, y'all have a special person who's going to pilot this drone, correct?
Well, actually, all of us are going to go through the training and be able to pilot it, but Rusty will be the initial pilot on it, sir.
Okay.
Ken, on this, how many batteries does it take?
It takes 2 batteries at one time, and we are getting, I believe, 8 batteries in total so that we can switch it out 4 times.
Okay. How long does a battery last a day? Do you know? Or those batteries?
No, sir. I don't have that information, sir.
Got a lesser version. They last about 30 minutes, so you need a stockpile of charged batteries if you want much out of it. So that's just my experience.
Thank you.
And I know we have 30,000 in the budget for that. Ken, is that going to be under the $30,000 amount?
Yes, sir. I believe it's, I'm sorry, ma'am. I believe it's around 27,000 thereabouts.
Okay.
I'd make the motion that we purchase the drone for emergency management.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 25, discuss take action on line item transfer for insurance.
Yes, whenever we first did the proposal, the buildings that Midland County had purchased there on Main Street and the other building that we purchased was not added into the first proposal when Rob came up and y'all passed it. So we're going to have to move some money so that we can cover the new buildings.
And how much is that amount, Ken?
It is $50,000, and it was already included in your line item transfers for this morning that I presented to you.
So do we need to
Do we need to do this again? Since we've already approved all line item transfers?
Not necessarily, because it's already been approved, because it was presented to you with the other line item transfers from this morning. I think they just wanted to make you aware of why.
Thank you.
We're just trying to keep you updated on everything we're doing, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
So do we need a motion for acknowledgement? Or
I'll make a motion to acknowledge.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimous. Item 26, discuss and acknowledge fleet accidents and damage reports for September 2020.
I believe everyone has their backup on that. Does anybody have any questions on anything?
Wasn't a good couple weeks, was it?
No, no, sir. It was very busy.
I'll make the motion to acknowledge the fleet accidents.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 27, discuss take action on line item transfer for CARES Act award.
Yes. What's happening is the detention center needs to move some inmates to Rolling Plains Detention Facility due to COVID. And we want to move some money so we can pay for that. I believe $50,000.
How many inmates you gonna have to move?
I don't know the total on that, Commissioner. You'd probably have to ask the sheriff on that.
Right now, sorry, this is Adam, Captain Hilliard. Right now, we just have 3 females over there right now.
So I'm trying to figure out $50,000 for 3. I mean, something.
Well, it may end up being more. Right now, we can't house any females in our blocks right now. So depending on what their crimes are, if they can't get out of jail, they'll have to be shipped to Haskell County.
So you just don't know how many in the future you're going to have.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
And Commissioner, that transfer is within the CARES Act fund. So we are planning on submitting that for reimbursement.
Right.
I'd make the motion that we transfer $50,000 in the CARES Act award line item to Veronica. Do you know which line we need to transfer that to? Oh, from 40.
Yes, it's from janitorial supplies into outplacement services.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry, Judge. Commissioner Donnelly, could you just
Yes.
verify that your motion again for me? It was motion to transfer,
Yeah.
just
Motion
to
to
outplacement service?
Yeah, a motion to transfer 50,000 from 425 560 00.5275 janitorial supplies to 425 560 00.5720 outplacement services to cover expenses.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 28, discuss take action declaring Midland Memorial Hospital exempt from competitive bidding per local government code 262.024A2.
Yeah, I might need Christy to help me with this, but basically the vendors that we have been attempting to purchase the testing kits that are covered under CARES Act, we've been having no luck. But Midland Memorial has all of those testing kits, and what we want to purchase will be over the $50,000 limit. So that's what we want to do. We want to exempt them.
Well, I'd make the motion that we declare Midland Memorial Hospital exempt from competitive bidding per local government code 262.024A2.
Commissioner, can I just ask you to add one thing?
Sure.
We need to limit this to this particular purchase. We can't just exempt the hospital. It has to be for this purchase. So if you could limit it to the purchase of, I believe this is the purchase of test kits.
Yes, this is limited to the purchase of in-house COVID testing kits for the jail.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Ken, who does the, where does it get sent off to be read or whatever? The test, do you know?
Yes, sir. We have access to an in-house, and we will not have to be sending those out.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks. Item 29, discuss and take action on exception to policy for remote pilot 101 training through m0a.com.
Yes, this is an exception because the company that has the training will not train you before they're paid. So we need to pay them before we can get the training to use the equipment.
I'd like to say I've watched a lot of the M0A videos on YouTube for just plain pilot training, and they're really good. They're good at what they do. They're fun to watch. They're, something you want to keep watching. So I'm excited that y'all are going to use those guys.
We tried to pick commissioner so that we can get the best experience and the best knowledge.
I'd make the motion that we act on a exception to policy for remote piloting 101 training through m0a.com and making a prepayment for services.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Item 30, discuss take action on donation in the amount of $5,000 from MDSA Thin Blue Line Support LLC to Midland County Sheriff's Office donation account.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is just a donation that's going into our account to purchase armor, vests, and we're just asking the court to acknowledge the donation from the Thin Blue Line, please.
Motion to acknowledge the $5,000 from the MDSA Thin Blue Line Support LLC.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 31, discuss take action on budget amendment $5,000 for Midland County Sheriff's Office donation account.
I believe this is going to be tied in with the exact same thing. If I'm looking at my notes correctly, I think I also have received the paperwork for the backup.
It is a budget amendment establishing that donation revenue and putting the money into the law enforcement supplies for the $5,000 award.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I'll make the motion authorizing a budget amendment for donation account line item 247-000-00.4740 to Sheriff's Law Enforcement Supply Lines item 247-500-10.5285 for the donation in the amount of $5,000 for body armor vest.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 32, discuss take action on donation in the amount of $100 from Robert D. Frazier and Russell Frazier to Sheriff's donation account.
Again, this is a donation, a generous donation from the Frazier family, and we're just asking that it be acknowledged and put into our donation account. It will be used for equipment for the deputies.
Motion to acknowledge and accept a donation for the sheriff's donation account in the amount of $100 from Robert D. Frazier and Russell Frazier. And I'm assuming you're writing the thank you letter?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 33, discuss take action on donation of 9/11 education materials for community relations from Permian Basin Regional Planning Commission.
These items are going to be used and dispersed by our community relations sergeant, Sergeant Subia. They're actually going to be part of our Halloween package for the stuff that we're going to be distributing to children and young people during the Halloween holidays. And then there's enough of the material they gave us. We'll probably be using it later on through the year.
Motion to acknowledge and accept donation on 9/11 educational materials for community relations from Permian Basin Regional Planning Commission.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Item 34, acknowledge civil and warrants monthly fee collection report.
Hoping the auditor has that.
Yeah, it's in the backup. Motion to acknowledge civil and warrants fee collection report.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 34, I'm sorry, already 35, acknowledge detention's monthly fee collection report for August 2020.
Then month. Motion to acknowledge collections by the sheriff's office under CCP 103.005.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 36, acknowledge detention's monthly fee collection report for September 2020.
Motion to acknowledge.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 37, discuss and take action on administrative leave with pay for sheriff office employee.
My understanding on this particular item is that this was going to be done in executive session.
Okay,
Is that correct?
yes, we'll table that for now. I didn't have it marked, sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you.
Item 38, discuss take action on purchase of Bearcat armored vehicle for sheriff's office.
Yes, sir. This is a budgeted item, and the sheriff's office has a quote from Lenco Armored Vehicles using the HGAC cooperative purchasing contract. The amount is $330,000, $330,655.
You recall how much we had budgeted for that?
350, I believe. Is that right, Veronica?
Yes, I believe it was 350,000.
Thank you.
Also, Christie or Ben, does somebody know roughly the delivery time, lead time to be able to see that item?
I don't have that information.
Understanding is it could be anywhere from 6 months to a year. Because of what's going on in our nation right now, we are in a long line of wanting these types of vehicles. So they're not going to give us a firm date. 6 months to a year is the best that Sergeant Fuentes has advised me thus far. I would be happy to report to the court occasionally just to let y'all know progress. We definitely are wanting to try to keep up with it. This is one of those items, sooner the better.
Okay.
Motion to approve purchase of the Bearcat armored vehicle for sheriff's office.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item 39, discuss take action on surplus vehicle auction.
Yes, sir. We are ready to auction our surplus vehicles. We have quite a few. We plan on beginning the auction on November 1st and ending it on December 1st. And we will be using GovDeals for this auction. They are part of the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract, so they're a co-op. I believe that Vector is still working on pulling some of the decals and some of the items off of the vehicles. And I sent you a list of the backup this morning to show you all the units that we are preparing to auction.
So Christie, you're gonna auction all of them or just the ones in green?
All of them.
And in the meantime, they'll get all these
Yes.
minor repairs taken care of, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve auction in November of 2020.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank
Item
you.
number 40, discuss take action on facilities director position. Been asked to go to executive session on it. Item 41, discuss take action on air purification equipment from Veritech for county buildings. Tim?
Yes, sir, Judge.
You're on.
Well, I didn't know much about this, but what we do need to know is how many buildings we are going to supply this air purification equipment for, because we have until November the 13th to get everything lined up if we're going to purchase all of these Veritechs for Midland County buildings with COVID money, with the grants money.
Is there a list of the county buildings? Because I just see the horseshoe on here, but I don't see any other county buildings.
It says for the courthouse, horseshoe, and possibly other buildings. It doesn't say other than the courthouse and the horseshoe, but those are emergency areas.
We would want to include the annex, wouldn't we?
Over here at the detention center, we're looking at getting it for the detention center also as well.
There's two large ones, and then there's that Global Plasma
Hello?
Solutions 14. There he is.
Hi there. Thank you. I was having trouble getting my phone to work. Right now, we have quotes on the courthouse, the horseshoe, and we got one in on Saturday for the jail. Those three we're going to do. We right now we've got the money. We've got the quotes for them. The annex we didn't get a quote on because we're going to be replacing the air conditioners here. We budgeted for that this year, and we're in right now writing that. I think we wrote it this morning, so we will look at replacing those as we put the new units in. It's no use to put them in the old units. And so far, that's all we've got pricing for. You should have backup for all three of them. I had Jenny send you the jail just a little while ago.
Yes, I
So you
just
could-
sent it in an email about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. The total for those three is $166,480. I have a gentleman standing by online. Jacob Sublett with Veritech. If you have any questions on how this works, we decided to go with this particular system because what we found out is a lot of the air purification equipment out there produces a lot of ozone, and ozone in larger quantities has its own problems, much like COVID. So this particular equipment produces very little to none and does the same job. But we have him standing by if you have any questions. I think he's on.
Tim, are we planning on, I know that you mentioned the annex just a while ago. What about the libraries?
We haven't got prices on them yet. We can. We just started with, what we did, we picked out the three that we thought, since we're going to start having court, and having people come in here, and we're having all the court stuff out at the Horseshoe, and the jail is having its issues, we thought we'd start with those three first.
Okay, thank you.
But if the court wishes, we can get them back to give us prices on all the buildings and see if we can get that purchased before the CARES money runs out.
Yes, please.
I would also like to point out, Tim told me that they are on the TIPS cooperative purchasing contract.
Oh,
yes. So we won't have to do 41.
Correct.
No, I mean 42. We can disregard item 42 because they are on TIPS. So we won't have to make an exemption.
Where are the budgeted funds for this, Tim?
I didn't budget for them, but they're coming from the CARES, the COVID funds. I talked to Justin Bunch last week. I sent him all this information. He said they would have money to cover this.
Okay. Well, I'll make the motion that we approve the purchase of air purification equipment from Veritech for courthouse, Horseshoe, and jail in the amount of $166,480 to be taken out of the CARES Act funds.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
While we're on this, do you want them to come back and get us a price for the rest of the buildings in the county? Some of them not going. The price is dependent on how many air moving pieces of equipment are in each building. That's why they vary so much. So some of them will be quite small because there's not many units. Some of them will be a little larger.
I believe that would be beneficial to us to know kind of where we might want to direct our funding.
Okay, I will try to have them to come back before next and have money quote for the rest of the buildings before next court.
All right, sir. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess 42 took care of itself. 43, discuss, take action on resolution for final application to TWDB for flood program grant.
Good morning.
Morning.
So this is the last step in the process of getting a 50% grant from TWDB to study flood pathways and flood areas throughout the county. There's pretty detailed information in the package. Probably the biggest thing to take note of at this stage is the $650,000 in the budget versus the max grant award at this point. I believe it's 612,500, I believe. So basically saying we have the budget to cover the maximum that they would award. That number that they are going to award is going to be dependent on the detailed plan that we turn in with this application. So it could be, if we turn in a plan that costs 1.2 million, it could be just 600,000. If we turn in a little bit bigger, it could be closer to the 612. Defining that is in the final stages. So we don't know exactly what it'll come to yet, but we will by the time the application is due on the 19th, which is before the next court. So what you see in front of you is detailed budget information, but undefined cost just yet. And so what I'm asking for today is that we can approve the application process and the resolutions that allow the judge to sign and me to manage the process, and physically sign all that once we know the final cost and final application before the 19th, again, before the next court.
If there are no other questions, I fully back Andrew on this, making this application. So I would make the resolution to execute the final application to TWDB for flood program grant.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 44, discuss take action on additional costs associated with TWDB grant application.
So back a couple of months ago, you guys the court approved $28,000 to put together the application to go to the state. That work was expended, the costs were executed and paid. The application went into the state, and kind of shame on me, I guess, but the application came back approved. Now go do some more work. I didn't expect that, to be honest. And so the effort to go take the application and further detail it to the standards they defined in their answer back, it's going to take more man hours from Park Hill Smith and Cooper, or Park Hill, in order to finalize that application that is due on the 19th for signature to go out. So there's a increase in cost for the process of preparing the application that I've defined in that line item.
Where would we take the funds from? Do we have professional services?
Professional services under the general commissioner's fund is where it's being billed now. I think that could be supported with the fact that we are slightly over budgeted in the actual grant fund line item if we chose to do a line item transfer in the future.
Okay. I'm keeping my fingers crossed we can keep it out of what we budgeted here. So I'll make the motion that we approve the increased cost to finalize the application grant.
So
Second.
do we need to transfer funds, or how much money is needed, or?
It's $28,000, and I don't think we need to transfer the funds. I believe it's available. It just wasn't accounted to that particular scope. And my comment of the transfer is simply, we are slightly over budgeted with the 650 versus the max awardable 612. If we needed to do a line item transfer to cover anything, we have that option.
Okay, because I think you have.
So are we going from 26,000 to 28,000? Am I understanding that correctly?
No, sir. 26 plus 28.
Oh, 26 plus 28. Gotcha.
This is the one where we have a $625,000 matching, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we have the motion in a second.
Correct.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
No, sir, I'm
Whoa. Can't hear you,
You're
Allison.
muted.
I'm sorry, I don't have a second.
Actually, I did, but probably got talked over.
Thank
Second.
you.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Item 45, discuss take action authorizing the county judge to sign agreement between Middle County and TCTB Management Group Superblock Parking LLC and MT223 LLC.
This has come about at the library. There's two competing surveys. One that we have says that the Midland County owns the alleyway to the west of the library at the plaza. The other side there's another survey that says they own it. I went through this and tried to do, kind of a cost analysis. This super block area over here is extremely complicated title. And I don't know how many thousands of dollars it would take for someone to go in and research the title and try to determine exactly who's right. So I went to, this is Wes Perry, and he's this TCTB management group, and said, why don't we just do this? We need access for delivery trucks. And this would be a lot easier if we were at some place, if we were at the courthouse, but they can come up here on Colorado and turn back west, drop off stuff. And some of these trucks are large enough that instead of being able to go back out here and hit Front Street, they don't have a way of turning. So I'd like to go out this way to get to Big Spring. Problem is there's no doubt that right here around this yellow deal, they own this property. This is theirs. We own this, but they own that. So instead of going out and saying, okay, we own trying to determine who owns the alleyway, I went to Russell and I said, let's work up a contract that says we both want it, we both need it, we both need to use it, but we're not going to say who owns it. We're just going to go, we both have access to it. And in that same process, they will give us access to Big Spring Street across their property there. It will not convey title to anybody. There'll never be any adverse possession problems on it. We all agree to get along. It gives us a good way of taking care of our ingress and egress problems, especially for large trucks at the library at the plaza.
Commissioner, I'm looking at the map right now. We've got bollards there. There's some that have an X and it's red. There's some O's and it's pink.
It'll be for a gateway. That part of it isn't 100% done. This is a tentative plan.
Okay.
What we're trying to do is, if you see going up Colorado Street on the east side of the library,
right,
people can turn right, and it's kind of a blind spot. And sometimes they could be going too fast, not be paying any attention, and some child or elderly person's coming out of the door, and we got a problem. So that's why those bollards are there, to prevent vehicular access through there unless we have the gates open for deliveries or something like that. It's just a safety issue.
Right.
Well, if there's not any more questions, I'll make the motion to authorize the county judge to sign the agreement between Midland County and TCTB Management Group Superblock Parking LLC and MT223 LLC. And before you say anything, the agreement has not been executed or has not made it back to the courthouse as of yet. So it's already been agreed upon to be signed on their part. So this is just, whenever we get it back, we'll be able to sign it.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 46, discuss take action with providing a portion of Midland County's Corona relief funds received through the CARES Act to Greenwood Independent School District. Ken, are you stepping in for Justin?
Judge, I have nothing on this. I didn't know this was coming up, and Justin didn't either, so we have no knowledge of this.
Okay, let's table it until Justin gets back, if that's okay, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to 47.
Judge, I'm sorry, Judge, before we move on, I do have a question.
Okay.
Is there a time limit? I mean, I just want to make sure that we don't run out of time and not get an opportunity to approve them.
Commissioner, I believe there is, I'm not sure what the date I had seen in one of the emails. And Justin is aware of this, I believe, and he had been included on the emails with me and Veronica. I can't remember what the date is. I don't know if Veronica might, but I think that it probably has to be approved today if it's going to be approved.
October 15th.
Yeah, the letter that comes with Greenwood indicates that the state will provide this opportunity on a first come, first served basis, and the deadline is October 15th.
You know, I think that we've got enough information on the backup. Unless anybody else has any questions, it kind of just tells us here what they're going to use it for. I think that's really what we needed. I really would hate for us to have an opportunity to approve it.
Okay.
And Commissioner, these are not, it's my understanding, none of this will be general money from the general fund. This is all money from the CARES Act.
Correct.
If I could just give you a little briefing on that CARES Act. I know the CARES Act award is $1,655,885. They want certain spending, 75% of the spending for that to be for direct COVID related, whether it be testing, whether it be supplies for cleaning, whether 75% of that has to come from purpose. The other 25%, which is support, is what needs to be 25% of it. 25% of the total award is about $413,000. From what we have already incurred, we've incurred like $123,000. And of course, the Veritech issue from today, that's another $166,000. So that's about $280,000. We could potentially have enough to do the Greenwood. But I also warn you of the fact that it has to be 25% of the amount spent. So if we don't have enough expenses to in categories of what we call category 1, 2, and 3, which is direct COVID expenses, which is the testing, which is people working on COVID items, then we can only spend on those and not support 25%. So right now we have about $364,000 spent. So we could only spend 25% on support items like this Greenwood. Now, if we have more COVID, directly COVID related expenses and we get to the $1,655,000, then we can spend up to $413,000. But that's what I know from the discussions in the classes that we've seen. And so I just want to make the court aware of that.
Veronica, I'm looking at the backup here and it looks like Greenwood is asking for $74,062.50. Would that take us over the amount that you were just saying about the $415,000?
Well, 25% of 364 is 91,000, isn't it?
It's 91,000, but we've already spent 123,000.
On the
we spent on support such as whether we bought computers. Part of that is some of the payroll that we've spent on direct COVID leave time. And so from the people that have already taken that time, of course, we have more time to be taken. As people do the 2 weeks or the allowable amounts, those are all added. And those are the categories, what I call 4, 5, and 6, which is we can only spend 25% on that. So I'm letting you know just so that, you're aware of kind of where we stand in regards to those funds.
So actually, the 166,480 is direct expense, and so we would have to find something else to go up. on, because we've already spent basically half our money is support.
Yes. So it has to be 25% that can be spent on support. And then the direct expenses, like I said, we have $1.6 million, but 25% of that is at 413,000 if we spend all of it. And it's not just how much we spend in relation to the total award. It has to be in relation to the amount spent.
Can we approve up to 25% of what we spend? Or the remainder of the 25% that is to be expensed in support or in those categories that you expressed?
So what is it that you want to approve, Commissioner? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm trying to since we have to approve this before the 15th, what I'd like to do is approve up to $74,062.50, but only make it subject to the 25% possible. So if whatever's possible are up to the 25% of what we expend.
Veronica, if I can chime in real quick, you said 25% is a 413,000, right?
If we spent all of the money, yes, sir.
Right, and then we've spent so far 364,000. Am I understanding that part correctly?
In total, yes.
Okay, so right now we only have 49,000 left over.
No. That 364 is total. It's all categories.
Oh, that's not part of the 25% then?
No, what we've spent in the 25% categories is about $123,000.
Oh, so we still have about 300,000 or 280 to cover it. So that would cover the 75,000. We would
If we spent the full amount of the award, yes, sir. Because remember, it's 25% of the amount spent.
Right. I see.
What's the deadline on accounting for what gets spent? The test this morning, do they go against that? The test we authorized this morning for the jail? Is there continuing?
We have until December 30. Well, honestly, we have until December 31st to spend this money.
Right.
So hopefully we'll get there. But I just wanted to warn you and let you know how the award works and what we have so far.
But if we include the other buildings in the air purification, then possibly we could get to this $74,062.50. I think it would be worthwhile to try to authorize what they're asking for at this point, and then try to work back into that. What do you think, Luis?
Commissioner, I think you're right. I think we would be able to spend that because those units that we're going to get, and now that we've added the other county buildings, I'm pretty sure we can get there.
Okay.
So I'd make the motion that we approve the $74,062.50 to be included in our CARES Act funding.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Excuse me. Excuse me. Item 47, discuss take action on monthly fee paid to Sanchez Mortician Services for fiscal year 2021. I've got Veronica.
Veronica and Russell asked this to be put on the agenda.
I'm going to hand that one off to Russell.
Veronica asked for me to ask to be put on. The issue is when we revised this contract back, I believe it was in May, the new contract went until September 30th and then renewed on October 1st, and then we'll renew on October 1st of each year. And so we set out a base amount per month, which was $21,416. But to take care of how to handle increases in the future, it provides that on or before May 1st of each year, that Sanchez may request a fee increase in a letter, and that any fee increase agreed to by Midland County will be included in the budget, take effect on October 1st if it's renewed. He did send a letter before May 1st for an increase, but I don't know that it was, and Veronica's going to have to jump in here, I don't know that it was actually included in the budget, and I'm not sure, and we probably should have had a procedure in here as to how it was going to be considered and approved. So what really needs to happen is to determine whether the contract year that we're starting now should include the increase he'd requested, which was up to, I believe, 25,000, give or take.
25,750?
750.
Yes, sir.
I guess the problem that I had with this, while they did bring it to the court during budget study, and they'd let you know about the increase that was coming, because we're not incurring as many freezer where they're freezing the bodies in as many days, because they're giving us the first 5 days free, and because now we have the death investigators. So I didn't increase the budget for autopsies, so I don't think it was, I wanted to make sure that you guys were clear that there was an increase. On top of that is when we increased the contract, it was after the date, I think it was in May or something like that, and the letter that had been submitted prior to us even agreeing to a contract in April. He agreed the April 29th. Again, this contract is written so that by you guys approving the budget, you've approved the increase, but I don't think that the amount was clear in the budget process, and therefore that's why I wanted to make sure that the court was aware that the increases, because the contract does say it's 21,416 and the letter says 25,750 monthly. I wanted the court's approval on the amount.
I have some kind of recollection that we did discuss this, and did we approve that?
You approved a change to the contract, which changed the language, but the language in the contract now says that you are approving it through the budget process, but you never directly, we didn't increase the amount in the budget because it's a big amount that we spend on autopsies, and it's always an unknown. So I don't think that it was something that was clear to the court of the increase. Now, I do remember that when we had budget studies, Judge Kovos did bring this to your attention, but I don't think there was anything that was approved by the court per se or voted on by the court. So before I pay them the larger number, I need some type of guidance or approval by the court on the.
That's what I'm wondering about is, did we say something about this? Is that this is what the contract will be, and in the next May is whenever the changes would be? I mean, it's a vague recollection. It may not be there, but.
Yeah, you agreed a contract, but when Judge Kovos brought that contract to the court, the contract that came did not change the amount. It was still at 21,000. But the contract that had those changes did include that you would, the increase would come as of October 1, because I believe we had different dates as of the effective date of that contract or the increase on that contract. But it also indicated that it would be increased through the budget process.
I believe that even though the letter requesting an increase as of October 1st is dated prior to the contract, the amended contract being approved, I believe that, and again, this is just going on my vague recollection, I believe that originally the plan was to have this, the revised contract on the agenda in April, and I don't remember why we didn't. And so I think that the thinking was that the letter was being sent after the contract had been approved, was going to be approved. But I believe the intent was, or the thinking was, at least for Mr. Sanchez, that this amount was going to take effect on October 1st. And looking back, I wish that in the contract I'd specified or clarified the procedure better as to exactly how we would handle the increases. But I believe that was the thinking or the intent at that time.
I would just like to say that in the minutes there, a contract was not approved. It was tabled for more information.
That's the minutes from what date?
That was from when all the funeral homes came and spoke to the commissioners about continuing using Sanchez morticians.
Allison, we did find some other minutes that didn't include the contract being approved. And that, Christy, what date was that? Do you remember? May 12th, I believe.
Which contract got approved? The one with the lesser amount or the amended amount?
So, can I interject?
Yes, please.
I believe that the contract was amended, and I can't remember what date that was. The contract was amended, and it was stated that the budget increase would be discussed during the budget hearings or during the budget process. And there was much discussion going back and forth about whether we were approving the increase or approving the contract revision. And it was on 511, item 14. And everyone agreed to the contract amendment, just stating how the procedure would be. And Judge Kobos at that time had also turned in that letter of increase and said that this should be evaluated during the budget process. And I believe he also forwarded it to Veronica as well in July. I know I think he put it in the backup for that May 11th court. And everyone saw that, but we were only approving the budget amendment.
He also brought it back forward when the budget hearings were going on.
Right. He brought it. I know he emailed it on July 1st as well, saying here's the proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year.
And so the proposed budget has which amount in it?
So I didn't increase the budget amount because we were not paying as much fees in refrigeration. And so there was not an increase to the budget per se because of this. So that's why I believe that it wasn't clear to the court. And that's why I wanted the court to approve if we are going to be paying the greater amount.
Veronica, I do have a question. So on the letter that he sent, the amount that he states, this is back in April, he states that $25,750. But then if you go into the contract is still the same at $21,416, and that one is dated October 5th of 2020.
Yeah, that one got approved May 11th, but when I inquired for a contract, I don't think there was anything signed, so that's why it got signed in October.
And Commissioner Sanchez, when he sent that letter, that was, as I recall, pursuant to discussions that he had with Judge Kobos. Judge Kobos had discussions with me about how to revise the contract. And so we had talked about this procedure where he would make a request by May 1st. So his intent in sending the letter was to request an increase effective October 1st. We just, it was sent before the contract got approved, but for it to be done by May 1st, he kind of really had to send it before the contract got signed because we didn't approve it until May. And so I believe that was the intent all along. And then we just, after the contract got approved, frankly, we just, I think all kind of forgot about it and didn't consider his request and take any action on it.
Well, that's why the amount stayed the same?
Correct. Well, and it was always supposed to stay at 21,416 through September 30th. It was just a question of whether it would then increase to the amount he's requested. And he had, as I recall, he had originally wanted to increase the amount earlier, but our agreement was if you keep it at this amount, then each year you can ask for an increase. And so, go ahead.
Sorry. The original amount that he had asked to increase it to way back when was $30,000 a month.
And he got that increase 2 months, I believe. It was the third month that it was noticed. And that remained with him. And I think that was part of the reasoning for us with him going up to 25/7. We asked to reimburse those 2 months of close to 10,000 a month extra. It's kind of what I'm remembering we discussed.
Yes, sir.
I guess I'm still confused on why this agreement was signed with the amount of 21,000 on October 5th. I mean, wouldn't he have changed? Wouldn't he have requested that change to be done on this agreement as he was signing?
That agreement had been approved on May 11th. We just, it was an oversight, so that's
I
why
see.
it's signed until October. So as of May
I
11th,
understand now.
the remainder of the fiscal year was the 21,000, Commissioner.
And Commissioner, I believe part of it, Mr. Sanchez agreeing to just stay at the 21,416 through the end of the year. I think part of it also was what the judge had mentioned, that there were 2 months when he had gotten an increase to 30,000. And along with that, there had been the like some overpayments on the refrigeration charge. So it's part of the agreement to change the contract and allow him to go up in future years. He agreed, instead of increasing it then, to just stay at the 21,416. But I think the intent was that that it would then go up on October 1st, but we just didn't do anything with it after that.
So then the difference, as I've calculated, is 4,334 a month, which comes out to 52,008 for the full year. That's the extra, that's the amount that we're needing to be able to fulfill his request of 25,750.
I don't believe we need additional budgeted dollars, Commissioner. I just needed clarification from the court that you're okay with the increase that he is proposing to you, so that I know which amount to pay.
Thank you.
And Commissioner, we expect the refrigeration charge to be much less this year than it had been in the past year. So that extra amount could end up as a wash. It could end up that he's getting more, could end up in our favor. It's hard to know at this point, I believe.
Correct.
But it's just, yeah, Veronica just needs to know whether to pay the 25,000 a month or the 21,000.
My memory says that's the number we were going to go up to October 1. That we intended to honor October 1, based on all these other numbers and stuff. But that's just me.
Okay.
And so if the court wants that, we would just need a motion to increase the monthly payment under the contract to that higher amount.
Effective October 1.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd make the motion that we acknowledge the raise of the base amount per month to 25,750 on the Sanchez mortician contract.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 48, discuss take action applying for COVID relief funds.
I put that on the agenda. There is a law firm in Dallas that claims that they found more categories that can be reimbursed by COVID. So I put them in touch with Russell and with Veronica, and I believe they had an initial discussion with Veronica. And I'm not sure if these are additional items that we agree on or don't agree on, but they have applied for these funds for 2 counties already. One is Collin County that has already received the additional funds. And so, Russell, did you respond back to the phone call that Bruce gave you last week?
I have not received a phone call yet, Commissioner. I did receive an email sending me some information. I have not had a chance to review all of that yet, but we haven't spoken on the phone yet.
So my question or my thoughts to the court is, if there are additional things that we can apply for that other counties have already applied for and received, I would want to receive the recommendation from Veronica and or Russell that they agree or don't agree with these. And so I'm just asking the court and if we were to hire them, it's an hourly rate. The hourly rate that they charge would be based on how much Russell or Veronica asked them to do, and it would be reimbursable by the COVID fund. So it would be no net increase to our budget. And so I just am asking that we continue those conversations. That I've sent the contact information to Russell and then to the Bruce Hendrick, who's the attorney there in Dallas. And so this is more for information than anything else, but just asking for those conversations to continue such that we find out if they're claiming there's an additional $1.6 million that we can apply for, but it has to be applied for by the Friday of this week. And so, Veronica, do you know anything else about what they're saying?
I didn't know anything about the additional $1.6 million. I know I spoke to one of the attorneys initially, and what they were claiming is that we could claim all of law enforcement payroll expenses now until the end of the year, basically, or from anything. But it kind of contradicts a little bit what we heard from TDEM, which is because, our funds come as a pass-through through the state. They are from the federal government, but it's a pass-through through the state. And some of the classes that we've taken don't direct us, to be claiming all of the law enforcement expenses. And that's what they're indicating, is that all law enforcement payroll expenses, regardless of what they're tending to, COVID or not COVID, can be claimed. Now, like I said, in some of the classes that we've been taking, it indicates that it has to be COVID related and such. And so that's kind of where I wasn't exactly sure what we could or could not do.
Right. They're not disagreeing with what you've heard. They're saying that they've done extensive research that because some of this law has been evolving almost weekly in terms of what you can and can't do. And they're claiming the federal government has approved these funds. And so I'm just asking that we would, that if you two wouldn't mind contacting this firm again and trying to resolve whether, because if Collin County and Ellis County have already done this and received the funds, there's no reason why we shouldn't apply for them as well. If there ever was a problem, if we applied for it and received it, and then for somehow they changed their mind or whatever, this firm's insurance would reimburse any damages we receive. I don't anticipate that. They claim they're following very conservative issues, but what they've done is done more research and more conversations probably than what the classes that we received have done. That's at least what they're saying. So so this is only advise only or request only that Russell and Veronica would continue those conversations as soon as possible, because if we agree with it, we have to make that application by Friday of this week.
And usually the application process will be done by Justin with Emergency Management Commissioner. We just kind of do all the reporting and that would be, he would have to take care of that.
That would be great. Ken, can you relay this information to Justin?
Yes, sir, Commissioner. I'll make sure he knows about it.
And I will send Justin the contact information as soon as the meeting's over today.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. That's all I have for this item, Judge, unless there's any input from my fellow court members. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Item 49, discuss take action holding future court meetings by Zoom.
I also put this agenda item on, and this, I'm going to ask for input from the different department heads and or electeds. My thoughts are this. It's my belief that the COVID virus, the reason there's one of the reasons, if not the main reason, there's such an increase in local communities of people catching this virus, is that there are so many people who are asymptomatic they don't have a temperature, but they spread it like crazy once they become infected. If we meet in court, I believe it's my opinion that we're playing a form of Russian roulette. No matter what you put up in terms of shields or whatever, because as you speak into the air or cough or sneeze, either one, that so many of your particles stay airborne for a long time. If you're outdoors, this is why people aren't so worried. If you're distanced and you do the sanitation and the mask, you're quite, the risk is limited. If you're indoors and we're all breathing in a courtroom for a period of 2 or 3 or 4 hours, I believe that the possibility of us catching the virus is greatly increased. I would love to hear the input. It's my opinion, until there is an effective treatment and or a vaccine that works, that for the next few months that we continue in Zoom mode, because if we were to spread it amongst ourselves, that would not be a good thing. That would just not be a good thing at all. And some of us have very impaired loved ones that we deal with on a daily basis, that were we to become asymptomatic and transfer it to our mothers or grandmothers, grandfathers, or wives or spouses. So I would love to hear input on continued Zoom meetings for the next at least the next 2 or 3 months. Floor is open for any response.
Well, I think until we get that air purifier in there, it might be reasonable. Although I would like, I really like the in-person, because these are kind of constrained a little bit as far as being able to discuss and throw stuff at each other.
My thought too is that we seem to be going in the opposite direction. The district courts are starting to open up. Governor Abbott has started to open bars back up. Seem to be going the other direction. I understand the concern. For me, I can do it either way, but just seems to be going contrary to what society's doing.
And I too see society opening back up, getting air purifiers in. Right now, we're doing some stuff in our courtroom, and that is putting up petitions. I know it's not the end all to saving everybody from this, but it is an attempt to section off everybody. We've got the rest of the county showing up to work. I think it behooves us to show up for work. That's just.
Well, Allison or Mitzi, do y'all have a comment on this from, just not the court itself?
I would love to be able to meet in person. That's just my personal wish and preference.
I agree. In person is a lot easier on everybody, and personally, my office has opened up completely. We're not doing appointments or anything, so it feels like a step backwards.
And Jenny or IT's not here. Mike, if there was a way to opt in or out, to me, that would be the perfect solution. I understand the concerns. I truly do.
I think that would be something that Mike and I can visit about.
Yeah, I would, if we had open court and anybody with a concern, certainly understandable, but if they could Zoom in, then I think we'd have the best of both worlds accomplished at that time.
Yeah, I'm sure we could get with our tech person and kind of assess what would need to happen in order to make that available.
Okay, well, I would like to explore that avenue.
I would too. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any more on that one? Okay. Item 50, take action on submitted applications for permits to use county right-of-way for utility line installations, driveway construction, and mailbox construction.
Precinct 1, I assume has 0.
Precinct 2 has 3.
Precinct 3 has 0.
Precinct 4 has 1. I approve. I make a motion to approve all of those.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. At this time, if we could take about a 15-minute break. Item 51, conduct executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to discuss personnel matters. And Jenny, I'm assuming you've sent us that number?
Yes, and
okay.
I sent it to you probably about 30 minutes ago.
Okay, I hadn't looked back. Okay.
So it should be in your, it should be there listed at the top.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me get, it's now 11:07, so if we could take about 15 minutes to be back in court we'll do executive session at that time. Thank you.
Andrew. Hey, you haven't happened to have been out to one
the conference PIN number.
Okay, everyone, we're going to come back in. The judge will call the executive session item. And then we'll break again while y'all come into executive session. Russell, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I sure can. Yeah, so the judge will call the executive session item and then y'all will go into.
Okay, great.
Go ahead and do it without, I guess everybody's listening. So it's 11:23. This meeting's back open, but we're gonna go now to executive session.
Judge, why don't we make sure that a third member of the court is present?
1, 2, okay.
Belly room's hanging out.
Oh,
There's Mr. Donnelly, okay.
looks like he's in an airplane with his headset.
Okay.
Ready to go to executive session.
Okay. It's 11:23 and we'll go to executive session now.
Judge, you might want to read out the actual item.
He's already called it.
Oh, he has? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Okay. All right. We're out of here.
Judge, Veronica has called and she's asked that you bring up the bills, which is item number 7.
Okay,
Please.
okay.
Hey, Jenny?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I keep just seeing one person's name at a time. I mean, is this gonna all pop up again at some point?
I'm not sure what, oh, there's Randy. He's wanting in.
Do I have to do something?
I'm not sure, but I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay, I can hear you. That's the only little rectangle that's up there.
Oh, okay. It might be on the view part.
On the top
Without seeing
right-hand
your
corner,
screen, it
you
would
can
be
do
hard.
gallery view. Top
Gallery view.
Got it. Saw it. It said exit minimize. I am good now.
Good.
Can I ask a question? I just got a permit from Jessica. It just came in through my email, so we could pull the permits up again in just a second. Item number, I think it's 50, because I've got one to approve. Sorry about that.
Okay, are we ready to go back into open?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
got everybody. Okay, it's 11:40 and this meeting is back open. Veronica was wanting to recall item 7, discuss, take action on bills and wire transfers.
Yes, sir. I have an additional bill that I would ask the court to allow me to go ahead and pay. It is the amount that we usually pay for the Horseshoe Hospitality Services for the 2 months worth of operating. The total amount is $169,004. I had not included that in the current bills, but we need to go ahead and get that paid for operational purposes.
Make the motion to include that hospitality bill for our current bill payments.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And then Luis, you wanted item 50, take action on submitted applications for permits to use county right of way for utility and line installations, driveway construction and mailbox construction.
Yes, Judge, I have one additional to add. And I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Is there any other action?
I would make a motion that we pay Monica Rogers the administrative pay for approximately 21.47 hours on other leave.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Is there any other action?
Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner Donnelly, is that going to be under executive session or is that under
Yes,
item?
that's under item 37, I believe, that
Yes.
department.
Thank you.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passed unanimously. This meeting, it is 11:42. Thank y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.